So, I'm a competitive Splatoon player. I know the game's pretty well and I've played since the first game. So I wanted to do a mini analysis of the Smash Brothers version of Inkling to see how accurate and well represented the Splatoon series is through their character. I'll also be taking a look at some of the things like the music and stage. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe. Without further ado, let's get right into it. First off, I want to start with their movement. Splatoon is an incredibly fast-paced game, and Inkling's whole thing is just how quickly they can maneuver around the map. So I really appreciate how fast they are in Smash in both ground and air speed, which feels really faithful. Additionally, swimming back and forth with their dash dance looks very similar to substrafing in the Splatoon series, which if that's intentional is just awesome. So first, let's start with their basic moves that use ink. While their forward smash of Ink Brush looks great, it's weird to see Ink Brush as this powerful attack when in the games it's actually one of the weakest ones. To me, this really should have been a multi-hit move, kind of similar to Cloud's forward smash, which would have matched Ink Brush a lot better and conveyed the speed. They could have also just simply opted to use Octo Brush if they really wanted to keep it one more powerful strike, since that's the heavier equivalent. Up smash is a blaster shot. Now technically this move does have a strong and weak hitbox, but there isn't really a drastic difference. In Splatoon, the indirects are an incredibly weak hit that's more meant to combo together with another shot, and the direct hit is a much more powerful, oftentimes being an one-hit killing move. I feel like this could have been the equivalent of Zelda's kicks, where just hitting the powerful hitbox would feel super satisfying and be incredibly rewarding, but it doesn't really feel that way, and it was a huge missed opportunity to not have that direct sound effect in the game. The down smash is definitely the most faithful of the three, as you get to flick on both sides, which is something you can actually do in the Splatoon game by, well, flicking really fast to hit both sides of you. I do wish the slash would travel down slightly. I know that could be a little bit annoying, but I mean, Steve gets to do that, and Ness's yo-yo is also a thing, so I feel like it could have happened. Two more random ink shooting moves I don't care much is forward throw, which looks fine, and the floor attacks, which I'm less okay with. They don't apply ink to the opponent despite looking like they should, and I also think Splatter Shot was just a weird choice here, though I do agree pulling out other weapons could have looked a bit clunky, so I get why they used it. Speaking of the Splatter Shot, Jab and Neutral Special both use it, but slightly varying qualities. The Jab is really cool and feels like a natural extension of that move and a great way to coat people in ink, which gives extra utility to the move, and the Neutral Special fits the range really well after the latest buff, and I feel like it's another cool neutral tool. That being said, these two moves are kind of similar to each other, and I wish Neutral Special was instead using a different weapon like a charger, but I guess I can talk about that more later. Roller is very weird. There's no horizontal flick whatsoever, and rolling is incredibly fast, even compared to something like a Carbon in the base game. I do like how it looks. I like that it can coat the ground in ink, which can help you move a bit more, and I think the burying effect is a great way to translate the insane reward of hitting someone with a roller. And even if it's very different from the base games, this feels like an adaptation that makes sense, and having rolling be super useful is actually something pretty interesting, since we never really get to see that in Splatoon. Super Jump looks fantastic. The only thing that's not faithful is the extra hitboxes, and I cannot complain about that. Don't really have anything else to say about this move. Down B, however, I do. I really don't get why, unlike in the original games, the bombs just detonate after a specific period of time. In Splatoon, part of the depth of using the sub was rolling it along the ground, since that time spent on the ground determined how fast it would blow up. Like with the blaster directs, it felt like an opportunity to have more depth in a cool move just stripped away for no reason. I do get the bomb would have to have the ability to detonate in the air, so it could be used for things like ledge trapping or sniping someone, but it also explodes when it hits the opponent, and I also think a compromise would have been really easy to make it so the bomb simply takes a shorter time to detonate when touching the ground than it does in the air. And while it's not technically a move, it uses ink, so whatever, I'm gonna say it here. The refill animation looks great. I love the X when you're out of ink, and the sub-weapon line that also shows how much your spot bomb uses. All of those are very faithful to the actual game. Final smash is the Killer Whale. While in the Splatoon game, this is a powerful but really short special you can't aim after firing. In this game, you can aim it while firing, and it lasts a long time. Kind of closer to Stingray in Splatoon 2, honestly. That being said, I'm okay with it. Smash Ultimate has a lot of simplified final smashes, so a lot of the concepts I felt that could have been cooler, like Kraken or Ingzuka, I guess aren't really able to be a thing in this game. The special works, and it still looks and sounds good, so I'm okay with it. Yeah, those are the only attacks that actually shoot your weapons. The majority of Inkling's movesets are a flurry of kicks or punches or using the weapon to hit someone. While these moves are obviously not in Splatoon, the kind of breakdance nature of them does still fit Inkling culture, so I'm okay with them, and honestly, they still kind of work for me. There are a few smaller details that I'd like to point out real quick before going over some missed potential. Inkling is one of the few characters that actually takes damage in water, which is pretty faithful considering water normally just kills them in their games. In Stamina Battle, when you lose a life, your soul basically goes up to heaven, and you see that little bit that comes from dying in the actual games. And finally, Up Taunt and Down Taunt correspond with Come On and Booyah from the original games, which are cool. So my complaints. First off, and the biggest missed opportunity is the weapon variety. I know this is based off of Splatoon 1 Inkling, but even without dualies and umbrellas, which would have been really cool for rolls, for example, I really think there was just so many different weapons they could have used. Carbon would have been great for a dash attack, Inkbrush could have been good for a get-up one, Dynamo could have been the equivalent of Mario Forward Aerial, but even more interesting with the ability to wall out opponents and being really ink-hungry. Charger could have been a neutral B special. Like, where are these weapons? Secondly, is that Inklings, for whatever reason, struggle to kill, despite the fact that in Splatoon, Inkling weapons are very powerful and most of them are one-shots or incredibly quick kill times. I think Inkling was actually a fantastic candidate to have a character that could kill really well, have good combos, but in exchange be extremely light and easy to die themselves due to their low health points. I know this would have clashed with their ink mechanic where opponents with ink on them take more damage, but that mechanic was made up anyway. Why not just have their mechanic be that ink lingers on the ground a bit, slightly speeding you up and maybe slightly slowing down the opponent? It sounds way less annoying than getting walled out by Steve blocks, so I don't really get it. And it's literally a mechanic that's somewhat in the game already with Roller. Just give it to all the other weapons. Obviously, the ink on the floor itself would need to be tweaked. Mainly, the negative effect it has on opponents' movement shouldn't be as strong as it is right now, and the ink would need to linger longer, but I feel like that would have been possible. Though a small detail from the E3 2018 trailer P-Jiggles pointed out to me is that rolling on the ground used to have the ink lingering for much longer, and it looked like the ink recovery time was faster. So maybe in beta this was the concept they were going for, and they ended up changing it. I know this section has been really harsh, but I'm trying to show off how many missed opportunities I really felt there was. A lot of the deeper mechanics or just straight up weapons of the game were really just gone to create an oversimplified version of it, and the main gimmick of how ink works in the game is not really that correlated to how ink works in Splatoon. Okay, character done. Let's take a look at the music and stage. Moray Towers is a really faithful recreation. I mean, the stage sucks both in Splatoon and in Smash. All joking aside, while it's not one-to-one, it mainly focuses on the descent, which is the main aspect of Moray Towers in Splatoon 1. This area over here could even be seen as the overlook from the original Moray Towers stage, and this part here looks about exactly like mid does in the actual game. And of course, this ramp is exactly the same. They didn't include the mid area, but I mean, this is the iconic part of Moray, and I think the stage was done pretty much perfectly. It's hard to see it any better than it is right now. They even included a little spot for Judd, which is awesome. Though Lil Judd wasn't in Splatoon 1, so it's weird to see him here. The stage does have a really cool hidden detail though, which is that if you play a Splatfest song, the stage will change to night mode to match how Splatfest work in the original games, which is probably my favorite detail out of anything. And on this stage, Now or Never can play in the last 30 seconds. So, the music. I got some positive things to say here, which is, I think pretty much all the returning song choices are good. Splat Attack, Inkersync, Seascape, Now or Never, Octo Weaponry, and of course the main one being Calamari Incantation is just awesome. I mean, you could nitpick and say there were some songs missing, like Where Is Hooked, it's so good, but overall I think this is a really good soundtrack. The problem I do have is the remixes. Now, some of them are fine. I think this remix of Bomb Rush Blush is actually amazing, and I really like the Splat Attack one, but some of them are this, and I don't know why. This feels like a song people use to make fun of Splatoon music, and it doesn't actually sound anything like a Splatoon song. It's some weird chiptune thing, and it doesn't fit, and I gotta be honest, this is my least favorite part of what they brought to Smash. Outside of that, the default ones like Seascape sound fine. I don't think anything here outside of Bomb Rush Blush sounds fantastic, but they're perfectly serviceable. Just Now or Never, why? So there's skins. There's the default Inkling Girl and Inkling Boy, fairly self-explanatory. You have Agent 3 from single player. I have no idea why they have a default splatter shot instead of a hero shot, but of course this is the one I personally use. A bunch of basic gear from the game for these three. This alternate is obviously based on the Squid Girl amiibo, and the rest of them were used from a variety of places. Some seem to be based off of the manga, some seem to be based off of the outfits in the local multiplayer balloon battle, and others seem to be based off of the Sheldon's picks like the Grim Range Blaster gear. And that's everything. I think Inkling's a bit of a mixed bag. Some stuff definitely works, but I feel like a lot of the details just were really missing, and they could have done so much of a better job. At least it leaves potential for an Octoling character in Smash 6 that could also use more weapons from Splatoon 2 and 3, though. So many Smash Brothers characters get ridiculous amounts of care and references to them, and I just wish Inkling was one of them. That being said, I don't think they got butchered either, so I'm okay with them. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.